Hello everyone, welcome back. In this topic, we'll be discussing Elastic File System or EFS. This is our agenda. We'll have some PEFS talk wherein I'll discuss about shared file system. Then we'll go into Elastic File Store, mount targets, how do we mount the file systems. We'll have demo, pricing. We'll conclude the topic with design patterns. We have already talked about file system basics in our pre-EBS talk. Here I'll do a recap. You have directories, files and storages. Directories are mapped to storage devices. These directories are called file systems. Here ABC is a directory whose parent directory is bin, whose parent directory is the root directory. So /bin/ABC is how ABC directory will be represented. Each individual directory can have their own storage space if you want. In this case, we have the root directory /bin/abc and /aws/bnd mapped to storage devices. All discussion in the previous slide talked about file system and storage devices, which are basically the turf of block devices. Shared file system is different than block devices. The protocols are different too. ext3, ext4, XFS do not work with shared file systems. What is shared file system? File system that is shared across multiple servers. Shared file systems are also exposed as file systems to servers. It uses NFS protocol, and to access shared file system we would need something called NFS client. Each servers would need to have NFS client installed in them to access the shared file system. It is a file system which can be shared by multiple servers. The servers do not get any raw device unlike EBS, but a pre-formatted file system with NFS type and protocol. The servers need to have NFS client installed on them. The file system is carved out of a storage device as usual, and this file system is shared across multiple servers or computers. The protocol which is used by the servers to access this file system is called NFS or Network File System. NFS clients need to be installed on all the servers for them to access the file system, which also can be treated as NFS server in a typical client-server architecture. As usual, we have Elastic because storage for the file system is increased and decreased dynamically. Unlike EBS, where you need to mention the size of the storage, nothing needs to be provisioned in EFS. It uses file level storage. EBS uses block level storage. It can only be used with EC2 instances, like EBS. You need to have NFS client installed on all the EC2 instances to use EFS. And EFS uses NFS version 4.0 or 4.1. There is no limit to the number of EC2 instances which can access this shared file system. We have our file system as before, but this time the file system is on EFS. We have our region, AZs and subnets in it, and EC2 instances sitting behind. These EC2 instances can access this file system concurrently. That also means if one EC2 instance writes something on this file system, that will be visible from the other EC2 instances as well. EFS file systems can also be accessed from on-premise servers, but by only using Direct Connect. This can be really helpful if you already have a shared file system in your on-premise environment and want to extend that particular file system and make use of AWS's elasticity and high availability. It can also be useful if you want to create a new file system but do not want the overhead of storage and management. You can opt for EFS and use it exactly the same way as you would have used an on-premise NFS file system. Although note that this can only be achieved using Direct Connect connection, it cannot be used over the internet. The size of EFS file system can go to petabyte scale. For high availability, data is stored in multiple AZs in the same region. This high availability is talking about EFS's feature wherein data in EFS is stored in multiple AZs similar to S3. So you get high availability by default within the same region without doing anything. To access EFS file system in a VPC, one or more mount targets have to be created in the VPC. Concept of VPC, subnets, etc. remain the same. The first thing we have to do is to create a file system in the EC2 instance. Then we create mount targets. Mount targets provide IP address or DNS name for an NFS v4 endpoint, at which EFS file system can be mounted. File system in the EC2 instance can be mounted using its DNS name. which will resolve to the IP address of the EFS mount target in the same availability zone as that of the EC2 instance. One mount target can be created in each AZ in a region. If there are multiple subnets in a single AZ, creating a mount target in one of the subnets would suffice. All EC2 instances in that AZ share the same mount target. This is our region. It has two AZs. Each AZ has two subnets. EC2 instances are only in 3 of the subnets. These EC2 instances want to access EFS. So we create mount targets in one of the subnets in each AZ. In this AZ, we have created mount target in this subnet, and in this AZ, this subnet has a mount target even though there are no EC2 instances running here. Mount targets are nothing but elastic network interfaces created in each of the specified subnets. I hope you remember the concept of ENI. If not, please refer to the VPC section again. All EC2 instances go via these ENIs to access this EFS. Security groups are applied at ENI level. Ports used for EFS is 2049. Concepts of NACLs and security groups remain same. Mount targets are designed to be highly available. The IP addresses and DNS for mount targets in each AZ do not change, and they get private IP addresses from the same subnet where it is created from. Now we'll see how to mount an EFS file system in an EC2 instance conceptually. EFS supports NFS version 4 and NFS version 4.1, most preferably NFS version 4.1. Here's our EC2 instance and EFS. We want to access this EFS file system from EC2 instance. First step is to install NFS client in the EC2 instance. These are the commands as per operating system. Then the file system has to be mounted with EFS using any one of these options. And this is the command to be used. Don't worry too much about the commands because you as a solutions architect or sysops admin will not run these commands inside the EC2 instances. Finally, an entry has to be made in /etc/fs tab so that the file system gets mounted whenever the EC2 instance starts. Don't bother about these commands and options. These mount options should be used for better performance. Let's do all these exercises in real time now.